What is enlightenment? Okay, you guys want to know what enlightenment is. That's a good start. Okay, you're curious, so you're not entirely sure. There's some interest. There's some sense that you don't know already. Okay, so what is enlightenment? Here is the perceiving of sensations and labels. For instance, these sounds. You can experience the sensations of the sounds. Even if I make a sound like clapping my hands, you can perceive that sensation of sound. You can also label that, oh, that was clapping of hands. Okay, so through the senses, here is the visual perceiving of shapes and colors. Maybe you're reading the blog and reading the words along with the video, the audio. So through the senses, here's the perceiving visually of shapes and colors, or the perceiving of sounds or smells and so on. Through the intellect, here also is the perceiving of language, of labels, of ideas, of identities, of titles, of categories, even the category enlightenment. Where is the perceiving of language? It's here. Where is the perceiving of sounds and other sensations? It's here. Eternally here. Omnipresent as here. Can you get away from perceiving? Nope. You are perceiving. What is reality? We'll be getting to what is enlightenment in a moment. What is reality? Reality is the perceiving itself. The perceiving itself is reality. Reality is the perceiving itself, as well as the perceived sensations, as well as the perceived labels, such as me and my history and my future. And when I clapped my hands 3 minutes ago, and when I clapped my hands 7 minutes ago, those are labels in language. When I clapped my hands 7 minutes ago, there's a bunch of labels all strung together. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment is simpler than words. It's simpler than sensation, even. Enlightenment is simpler than words, so it may be strange to try to put enlightenment into words. No description of enlightenment is to be confused with enlightenment itself. By the way, to be clear that no description of enlightenment is itself enlightenment is itself enlightenment. We could even define enlightenment as the activity of simply being as the process of perceiving, without requiring some exclusive identifying as some concept of some other self besides the perceiving itself. I'm this perceiving and not that one. I'm the one that was born in that year and has this body and so on. That's an exclusive identifying with a particular perceiving. That's not required. We could identify enlightenment as the activity of simply being as the process of perceiving. Enlightenment is to merely be the perceiving as the process of perceiving. That the perceiving itself is itself real, already real. Couldn't be anything else but real. You can't become real, you're already real. Enlightenment is to merely be the perceiving as the process of perceiving, that the perceiving is itself real, that the perceiving is a reality. Already. Always. Now, there can be identifying in language with a particular label or not. That is entirely incidental and trivial to the direct perceiving of the absolute reality of the perceiving itself. I can say, I'm only this one. That doesn't change that I'm not really only this one, but I could say that. Enlightenment includes clarity that all labels are just labels. Enlightenment includes clarity that all labels are just labels. There can be identifying in language with a particular label or not. That's entirely incidental and trivial to the direct perceiving of the absolute reality of the perceiving itself. The perceiving itself is already real, already here. You don't have to get to it eventually. There's no you besides it to get to it. So that's what enlightenment is. What's hell? Hell, or what is called in Sanskrit by Buddhists and Hindus and so on, is samsara. Hell is samsara. It's a label for the perceiving of labels about the perceiving that I am as being more real than the perceiving itself. That the language or description about the perceiving is more real than the direct perceiving. That even descriptions about what is perceived are more important than the perceiving itself. Hell, or samsara, is a label for the perceiving of labels about the perceiving as being more real than the perceiving itself. That the hell is the perceiving that the labels are more real than the perceiving itself. Hell is the perceiving that the sensations of the perceiving are more real than the perceiving itself. Hell is the experience or the labeling of labels as more real than sensations, and sensations as more real than the perceiving. The perceiving is the root. From out of the perceiving arise sensations, and on top of those sensations are covered labels. Labels cover up or, categorize the sensations, patterns of sensations. But all of those things are secondary to the perceiving itself, which is always here, already. So there's nothing more real than the perceiving itself. Indeed, there is nothing but reality. There is nothing but reality. What's before reality? Reality is eternal. What is beyond reality? Reality is everywhere, omnipresent. What creates reality? Influencing it? I'll tell you.